Welcome to episode 2 of Realtor Chronicles. Today we're going to discuss my first real estate transaction. I think that this story is so important. It is something that I always share with my new agents because I want them to know that we can relate, that we often have the same fears, the same insecurities, the same feelings of being overwhelmed when we're encountering our first transaction. But let me tell you why you should not let this handicap you. My first deal was immediate. I passed my test on Friday, and that Monday, I was working with my first set of buyers. Now, that is definitely not the normal situation. It usually takes an agent 3 to 6 months to even get their first transaction. However, when I had my real estate license, I was also already a licensed loan officer. And the company that held my loan officer license is who I chose to get my real estate license with. So they had a deal waiting for me when I passed that test. Now, this couple that I was working with, they were looking for a 4-bedroom home in Southeast Houston. I was so nervous throughout the entire process. Literally every home I showed, I was praying that she hated the house. You know why? Because I feared that when she found the home she loved, it was going to be time for me to write an offer, and I had never done that before. Now, what many agents have now, I lacked at the time. I did not have, a coach or a mentor or someone that I can go to assist me through the steps of working with the client. What I did do, and I applied myself for, was that I was resourceful. I had a friend whose girlfriend was a realtor. So I remember asking him if he minds sharing her information, let him know that I had my first client and it was time for me to write up an offer and I needed her assistance. And she was more than willing to help. Now, fourth day of showing, there were 2 homes. My client loved them both. And we agreed that we would put offers on both properties. So when I reached out to this agent, she was sure, no problem. Gosh, I was really thankful for her assistance because she walked me through the steps of completing a contract from beginning to end and even gave me a dummy copy so that I could use it as a guide when writing up both of my offers. So within 24 hours of me and her talking and me and my client deciding to write up both offers, I did that. And guess what? Both offers were accepted. I never forget. I was excited, but then I was really, really scared. The thought of having 2 accepted offers, I just thought we would get in trouble for some reason. So weird. But we countered both offers, and the one who came back with the better terms is the one that we proceeded with. Okay. So I say that to say, for any of you who maybe you haven't received your first deal yet and you're scared about it, don't be. Because there are colleagues out there who want to see you win. They're going to be there to be a resource to you, to be a support to you, and available to answer any questions that you may have about submitting that first contract. Another thing, so many of us get, just out of whack when it comes to the contract. We don't want to do anything wrong. We want to make sure everything is perfect from beginning to end. And I'm here to tell you, mistakes happen. Don't concern yourself with getting every single piece of the contract right. You do want to, have a general knowledge of it. Okay, you definitely do. So get some practice before it's time to start writing up those offers to familiarize yourself with the contract and with the terminology. However, don't be afraid to make mistakes. We all make mistakes. Okay, that's what amendments are for. And many times when you go in with that initial offer, you're going to receive a counter. So there's going to be the opportunity to go in and correct, any mistakes or missing information. So don't be so worried that you talk yourself out of a deal, which was what I was trying to do, right? I was so scared to, encounter the house that my client loved because I didn't want to move on to step 2 because I had never done a contract before. But you're never going to do one until you do one. Okay. Now, our contract process was fairly smooth. The property that we ended up proceeding with was a VA foreclosure. So if any of you do not know this, the VA makes sure that there is no structural incompetencies to a property. So the foundation is going to be good. The electrical is going to be good. That roof is going to be good, plumbing good, etc. Okay, so this was a plus for us. So she was confident in in closing on this home because she knew that at least the structure of the home was great. It did need some cosmetic work. She did plan on replacing all the flooring and having the entire home painted. However, to get a great deal on a house and know that that's the only thing that you have to go in concerning yourself with, that's a good situation, especially as a first-time buyer. Now, we didn't have, inspection did bring up some issues. However, the repairs that we asked for, the sellers agreed to fix without issue. That was the next thing that I was nervous about, was just the negotiating and going back and forth. So I didn't have that issue with this deal. And I wasn't able to hone on my negotiation skills till later. And that's something that we'll discuss. But we did encounter an issue at the closing table. I'll discuss that in another episode because that was a whole situation in itself. We got to the closing table with no issues, but once we got to that closing table, I was really, really nervous that my clients were going to walk away. That is it for episode 2. And next week, we'll discuss what exactly we encounter at the closing table and just some tips and things that an agent can do moving forward if they were to encounter the same situation that I did. Thanks, guys.